For years, we've kind of thought of AI as this super smart calculator. It's great at answering a question or maybe generating an image. But what if it could be more like a super smart intern? Well, that's the massive shift happening right now as AI evolves from simply predicting things to actually doing things. Yeah, and this quote really gets to the heart of it. We're moving beyond just building bigger and bigger language models. We're giving them the power to be genuinely useful, to plan, to act, and to achieve goals, all on their own. So what's the big difference here? It all comes down to our role. With the kind of AI we're all used to, we're the ones laying every single brick, micromanaging every step. But with autonomous agents, we get to be the architect. We just provide the vision, the mission, and the AI figures out how to build it. Okay, so how does an agent actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the three core parts that make up every single one. All right, first up, you've got the model. Think of this as the brain of the whole operation. This is that core language model that does all the heavy lifting. The reasoning, the planning, and making those crucial decisions. But hey, a brain that can't actually do anything in the real world is just a thinker, right? Not a doer. And that's where tools come in. These are the APIs, the code, the database connections that act as the agent's hands, letting its thoughts have a real impact. And finally, you need something to connect the brain and the hands. That's the orchestration layer, the nervous system, if you will. This is really the engine that keeps the whole thing running smoothly. It manages memory and answers that big question, when to think and when to act. So, how do all these pieces actually work together? Well, they run on a really simple but incredibly powerful cycle, the think, act, observe loop. This is basically the operating system for everything an agent does. So it all kicks off with a mission. First, the agent scans its surroundings to get the lay of the land. With that info, its brain fires up to make a plan. Then, it takes action using its hands, its tools. And finally, and this is key, it observes what happened and just repeats the cycle, learning and tweaking things until the mission's done. Okay, let's make this super concrete. Imagine a user asks, "Hey, where's my order?" The agent's mission is crystal clear. It thinks, "Okay, I need to find the order details, grab the tracking number, and then check the shipping status." Its first action is to use its Find Order tool. It observes the result, aha, a tracking number. So now it iterates. It takes that new piece of info and starts the loop again, using its shipping status tool to get you that final answer. All right, so that's the basic mechanics of how they work. But here's the thing. Not all agents are created equal. You can actually think of their capabilities like a ladder, where each rung is a major leap in just how autonomous and powerful they are. So let's start at the very first rung. This is really the foundation for any functional agent. This is what we call the connected problem solver. Its superpower? It can use tools like a search API to answer questions about stuff that's happening right now, things outside its original training data. This is exactly how it can tell you the final score of a game that just ended. It connects to the live, real world. Okay, let's climb up to level 2. And this is where things start to get really interesting. It's a huge jump in sophistication. So say hello to the strategic problem solver. This agent doesn't just do one thing. No, it creates and then executes a whole multi-step plan. So if you ask it to find a coffee shop halfway between two places, it has to think, okay, first I gotta figure out the halfway point, then I can search for coffee shops there. See, that's strategic planning right there in action. Now at level 3, the whole paradigm just shifts completely. We're not talking about one lonely agent anymore, we're talking about a whole team. This is the collaborative multi-agent system. And honestly, it works a lot like a human team. You've got a project manager agent that gets a really complex mission, like, say, launching a new product. And what does it do? It delegates tasks to other, more specialized agents, one for market research, another for writing marketing copy, and a third to build the web page. And that brings us to the top of the ladder, level 4. This is the absolute frontier of what's possible with agentic systems right now. This is the self-evolving system, and what it can do is, well, it's pretty profound. This agent can actually realize when it's missing a tool it needs for a job, and then it just creates a new one on the fly. It doesn't just use its hands, it can literally build new hands for itself. This transforms a team of agents into a system that's truly learning and evolving.
Okay, so we've climbed that whole ladder. What's the big takeaway here? What does all this really mean for you, for your work?
Well, it really all boils down to this. When you put together the brain, the hands, and that nervous system, and you give them clear goals, the agent stops being just a tool you pick up and put down. It actually becomes a collaborative partner, a brand new, incredibly capable member of your team. So, look, the real question isn't if this is coming. It's what are we going to do with it? I want you to stop thinking about this as just software for a second. If you could add a fully autonomous problem-solving agent to your team, right now, today, what would be the very first mission you'd give it?